Sigourney Weaver, of course, knocks a home run here in this performance, taking on a role that is not necessarily sympathetic for most of this movie anyway. And I was reading in the production notes to this that there were other actresses that came close to doing this. Susan Sarandon's on the list, I see. Celia Ward, Christine Lottie. Now, having seen the movie, it's almost hard to imagine someone else doing the role. Let's talk about Sigourney's performance here and what it was like. I guess creating that when you made this movie.
Yeah, well, what happened was, and I won't take you to over 12-year period because we don't have enough time to hear the entire history of the project, but it was a long, rocky road to get where we did finally. But with Sigourney, what happened was Stephen Bolkin, executive at Lifetime, contacted us and fell in love with the adaptation of the book that Katie Ford wrote, the screenplay, and the actor strike was pending essentially at that time. And he said, listen, can you be in production on this picture in 8 weeks? And after 12 years in an effort to get this movie made, at so many false starts along the way, and we also explored the theatrical possibilities with this movie. I'm primarily a theatrical film producer, and, those roads are also pretty rocky. An independent film based on this material may have played, New York, L.A., Chicago, and Here Today and Gone Tomorrow, and the challenges of marketing films like this. So we also endeavored to get it made as a cable or a television movie. So there was a history at other former homes of the project, NBC and Showtime, and so there was a long, period where we had a number of false starts. But when Lifetime wanted to really progress on the movie and loved the script and embraced it, we really wanted to know that they would support it in going with a major star, perhaps a star who's never worked in the medium before, and a theatrical film star. We wanted to go with somebody of significant cachet who also would be a great marriage with the role, and obviously Sigourney was somebody who filled that bill in so many ways for us. So when we went to Sigourney with the material, she embraced it immediately, and the first thing that Sigourney did was, before making a commitment to the role, she wanted to meet Mary, and wow. That was important to her to know that Mary was okay with her portraying her in a movie, and which was amazing.
Tell us about that meeting.
Well, I wasn't at that meeting. We originally were going to try to coordinate something in Los Angeles, and then Sigourney suggested that she go up to Walnut Creek to meet Mary at her home, and which is what she did. And Dan Sladek accompanied her on that trip, representing us, the three of us. And from what Dan conveyed and Sigourney conveyed and Mary conveyed, that meeting was pretty amazing. The family was there to meet and greet Sigourney, and they had a long conversation, and they really connected. And Mary was upstairs in what was Bobby's alcove, where he spent a lot of time in the movie. He goes upstairs to this alcove they have in their home, and Sigourney was sitting on the bed, Bobby's bed, that he once slept in, and she said to Dan Sladek that we really have a responsibility here, and to portray this story honestly, and it's a big responsibility, is what she felt, and it was, and she delivered on so many counts. I mean, first of all, as you said, it's hard when you talk about a mother who had her hand in her son's death, essentially, to convey a certain sympathetic attitude, so the audiences embrace this character, and it's delicate. And Sigourney hit it on just every mark, and this is also, Sigourney's never worked in terms of the medium, never done a cable or television movie, so it was a first that way. So there were challenges just in that itself, 20-day schedule, obviously very different from in the feature film world of scheduling films.
If I were Jessica Lange and Drew Barrymore in this Emmy race with Grey Gardens, those are the presumed frontrunners in this race to win Best Actress, I'd be very nervous about Sigourney. Those of us who watch and track this race very closely know that this may even be considered the frontrunner in the race, given the emotional weight and power of her performance and the subject matter. Last point here. In a way, it worked out really great that Lifetime was the telecaster, wasn't it? Because that's where this movie should be targeted. This is an audience of mothers who wrestle with this on a daily basis in Heartland America. So, if Bobby's story, I can't imagine a better place for Bobby's story to be told and Mary's, don't you think?
Well, I think that was one of our decisions with Lifetime, when they approached us about wanting to do this movie and supporting it by going with a star of Sigourney's stature. The movie, because of the reach of the medium and Lifetime's audience, that the movie is seen by so many people who need to see this movie, whether it be parents, whether it be kids dealing with their sexuality, the acceptance of these kids in their families. The letters and the response to the movie, I mean, it was seen by 6 million people. And the reach, from here to New York, it's the 3,000 miles. It's not just a film that's platformed in major cities. It's really had a wide reach just by virtue of cable and the people who had access to it. So the letters and the responses, I mean, I wish I had some of these responses handy to read to you, because it's a film that has truly saved lives. I mean, these are the response that we've gotten from people who are so affected by this movie on such a personal level in dealing with their own lives, whether it be the parents or the kids or whomever. I mean, everybody's touched by this movie.
Well, congratulations to you, and good luck in the Emmy race ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words.